Well, my name is Godfrey Plata. I'm a candidate for Assembly in District 53. And specifically to this audience, which is mostly a Filipino audience, I'm running to be just the third person ever to be an assembly person who is Filipino in California. Right now, we've only ever had 2 other Filipino assembly people, but the first Filipinos arrived in California in the 1590s. So it's been a long time, a long time coming for us to actually be in leadership here. A lot of things pushed me to run for office. I think about my nephew. His name is Kyle. He's 2.5 years old. I have a niece. Her name is Layla. And Layla is 6-7 months old now. And they're the first 2 people in our family to be born in the United States. I'm an immigrant. I came from the Philippines along with my sister and my parents, and that means a lot to me. Everything comes back to where you come from, and I'm really afraid that Kyle and Layla are going to grow up in the United States and not see models of being Filipino that are going to be powerful and take the lead here and be involved in what it takes to be in democracy here. And I need them to see that they can do that, and I need to do that on behalf of them, but our entire community as well. Everything comes back to the state assembly. My background is in education and organizing, so lots of people think that, oh, this person should run for school board, but the reality of the situation is, like, kids don't leave their stories at home. When they have things happening in their neighborhood, in their community, they bring them to school, and then we put pressures on schools to fix them. And schools can't fix everything that's happening in our neighborhoods and communities. If we're worried about rent, for example, and here in Los Angeles, we're worried about the cost of rent rising too quickly. It's pushing people into homelessness. My apartment here that you're in right now, 40% of my monthly salary goes to my rent. So if a family of 4 or 5 has very limited wages and they're trying to support themselves, but they can't predict how much their rent is going to cost a year from now because we're not protecting tenants, kids are going to school with those problems and those worries and those anxieties, and it's not okay for us to say, schools go fix the problems. We've actually got much more to fix, and that all of that is going to go up to the state legislature. It's about rent, it's about immigration and how we treat folks who are immigrants, it's about people of color, it's about people in schools too. It's about our funding that funds our schools. So everything goes back up to Sacramento. When I think about bravery that it takes to go into politics, for example, I think about our people. Like, my mom is one of the bravest people I know for leaving behind 12 other siblings in the Philippines to try to come here to the United States and make a new life for us here. That's bravery, and I live in a predominantly immigrant district, and that means that we're all brave just trying to make it here in a new country. And so just by being Filipino, I think I am qualified to actually enter leadership. Aside from that, I've been a teacher, and I've had 180 students in 1 year. And if you've ever tried managing 180 kids, you can manage hundreds of adults at the same time. I've been an organizer, meaning that I work with educators and students and parents to influence policies and laws that happen in our schools. And, you know, I've always been on the outside of that. We build power and we apply pressure on decision makers to change laws and policies that don't make sense. But why are we always seeing ourselves on the outside when we can be on the inside as well? So that's part of me going into this. I'm learning a lot. I think what we know about power, this is true in the Philippines and here in the United States, is people who are in power like to stay in power. And so if you're coming in from the outside and you're new and you're rocking the boat, people tend to notice and try to protect themselves. And so as an outsider, what I'm learning is that there are lots of rules meant to keep us out. For example, in my district, I'm running to represent 483,000 people. But in the last election, only 24,000 people voted for the person currently sitting in the seat. That's 460,000 people who are left out of that conversation. And we're out of that conversation because no one's coming to ask us, because the rules don't need us to get involved in the process. Like, why get us involved if they can keep doing what they want to do without us? I think I'm learning a lot about what it takes to rock that boat, to learn the rules of the game, and then to start creating our own rules to make sure that we have room for us at the decision-making table.